I'm back. The first thing you need to write is 1. And yes, you should make a chart that looks like this. And I'll put this up on the classroom page so everyone can see it. But the first thing you need to write is 1. It's an idea from anyone. So a bill is an idea for a law. And we're going to write that down right on here. So bill equals idea for a law. That doesn't mean it is an idea because it's not passed yet. It has to go all the way down here to get passed. So it's just an idea for a law. Okay, so the first step, idea from anyone. Anyone can come up with this idea. Second step, they call the congressperson in their state or in their district, and that person writes up the bill because there's a special way that you have to do it, and most regular citizens do not know how to do it. So the congressperson at this step can either laugh and say, yeah, you're funny, that's not going to be happening, or they could agree with the person and they write up the bill and then they send it to Congress. So there's 2 things. Ready? When they send it to Congress, if the person who was writing up the bill is a senator, then it goes to the Senate first. So when they send their bill to Congress, it goes to the Senate. And our senators in Connecticut are Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy, but you should already know that because I've already taught that. So now if the bill in step 3 was written by the representative, the House of Representatives, then it would be sent to the House of Representatives. And our representative from the House is Jim Himes. And you already know that. So we're going to start with, what's it called? I can't think. We're going to start with the House of Reps because the bill is most likely going to be presented in the House of Reps first. All right, so that's over here. And the reason why it's going to most likely be presented there is because if the bill comes from a regular person, so like you, me, your parents, grandparents, then we are most likely going to call up Jim Himes, and he is a representative in the House, so he's going to send it to the House. So the first step, once it gets to the House of Representatives, this will be step 4. Is the bill is dropped in a box called the hopper. And the hopper is literally just a box smaller than this whole poster board. And the hopper is made out of mahogany, very expensive wood, by the way. And that's literally all it is. It's a box that they drop bills in. And that's how they introduce the bill. All right, so then the bill is researched by committees, okay? That's step 5. And while they're researching it, these committees specialize. So if a bill is about something to do with education, like maybe starting the day later or making sure every child in America has a computer, something like that, then what's going to happen is the bill is going to be researched by an education committee. The people who specialize in education in Congress. It's not going to be researched by people who are specializing in science development or agriculture, but some people can specialize in more than one thing. So that's what's going to happen there. All right, so the 6th step is that those committees have to tell the rest of the people in the House of Representatives. So if the committee has 10 people, then how many more people do they have to tell? Correct, Chief. 425 other people have to be told about their research and their findings. So what did they find about this bill? So while they're researching, they're looking at who is the bill going to hurt? Who is the law or bill going to help? What is it going to do for the American economy? What is it going to do for the American people? What's it going to do? Like, this is what they're figuring out. Who's going to benefit from this bill? Who's going to be affected by this bill? All right. So that, and then they present all that information to the rest of the House. So the other group, like the 435 people. And then step 7 is the bill is debated on and voted on. So they only are allowed 1 hour of debate time in the House of Representatives. And you should already know that because that was in your notes too that we went over. So they debate and vote on it. And let's say they love it. Where does the bill go? Well, if the bill started in the House of Representatives, then it has to go to the other group of Congress. And who is the other group? That's right, Julia. The other group is the Senate. So that's why right here, I have this arrow. So if the bill started in the Senate and we just finished with the House of Reps, then we would go there. But because we haven't been to the Senate yet, we're going to go this way. And this says the bill is passed to the other house. Because remember, they're both technically called the House of Senate and House of Representatives, but we only call this one the House. So the bill is being passed, so we go from here up to here. All right, so we've already introduced, so now we have to figure out how they introduced the bill on the Senate. So what we're gonna do is, we know that this is the introduction of the bill, so I'm gonna write that out. Okay, this is also step 4 because it's the same like part of the step that the House has, but it's not dropped in a box. So that you need to know that difference. The House drops their bill in a box, while the Senate gives it to the clerk. She is called the Senate clerk, and they read the bill aloud on the Senate floor for everyone to hear. All right, next step, step 5, is the same wording, it's the same everything as the House of Representatives, step 5. Exactly the same. They research the bill in their committees. So same thing, the Education Committee gets together to research the education bill. If it's a science and technology bill, then guess what? The science and technology people are researching it in a special committee. Because remember, a committee is a small group of Congress people working to research and find information on bills. So that's why step 6 is the same thing as that step 6. So step 6 says, committees present their research/findings to the Senate floor. On the other step 6 for the House, it just says the House floor. So this is the Senate floor. So now everyone knows about the bill. They know who it's going to hurt. They know who it's going to help. And then we get to step 7 on this side for the Senate. And they debate and vote on it. But there's a difference between how long they get to debate. Remember, senators, there's 100 of them because we have 50 states. So 2 times 50 is 100. So 100 senators. That is a lot less than 435 House of Representatives. So, fun, they get a thing called filibuster. And as you should remember from one of my earlier videos, what is a filibuster? Correct, Ginger. A filibuster means unlimited debate. And the reason why a senator would filibuster is because they fail to kill or obstruct a bill. It's something that they don't want to happen. So if a senator really hates a bill and they really don't want it to become a law, they're going to try and obstruct it as long as possible. That doesn't exactly mean that they're going to be able to shut it down, but they're going to try and delay it as long as possible. Maybe get people to change their mind or something. Okay, so now we have 2 arrows. But we're only going to choose one of them because if you remember, we already went to the House of Representatives, so we don't have to go back there. So we're going to take this arrow and go this way to the conference committee. And guess what happens at the conference committee? So this is going to be called step 8. All right, conference committee, super fun committee. It takes people from both houses. So I'm going to put that over here. Good. Okay, so members from both groups of Congress meet because remember, as they're passing and researching and doing all this stuff with the bill, they're going to have different versions of the bill, even if the word and is used instead of the word or. That is a huge difference. So even if it's just one word, they still have to meet and basically come up with the same bill because they can't give 2 bills to the president. They have to give one that they both agree on. So if they both can't agree, then the bill dies and does not become a law. So then, in step 9, my finger. In step 9, they send the bill to the president. So the conference committee is the groups from both houses get together and they iron out the bill, and then the finished bill goes to the president. Now the president can do sort of, they say 2 things, but it's more like 3. One of the ideas he can do is, we're going to call this step 10. And in step 10, he or she can sign the bill, and that bill becomes a law. So if the president likes the bill, he's the one who turns it into a law. So the Congress did all of the research, the voting, and everything, and then the president can say, I like it, I completely agree, this is going to help the American, is going to help America. Or the president can hate the bill and disagree with everything about it, and he can do a pocket veto, or he can do a regular veto. So we're going to call this 10A, 10B. Okay, so in 10A, the president can veto or pocket veto. So if he decides to veto the bill, it's going to go back to Congress, right? So veto means the bill goes back to Congress and they can override the president with 2/3 vote. So they can check the president and balance the power. Or he can pocket veto and the bill dies. It is done for. Because think about it, he's putting it in his pocket, not literally, but figuratively. He's putting it in his pocket and he's forgetting about it. So the bill is gonzo. So no, even if the president signs the bill or vetoes it, or pocket vetoes it, all of this is an example of what? Correct, Ja. It's an example of checks and balances. So I'm going to put that over here because all of this, him signing or him vetoing, is checks and balances. And the last group who can check and balance all of this is the Supreme Court, because even if the president and the Congress think this bill is great and it's going to be a great law, the Supreme Court can look at it and say, nope, it is unconstitutional. And then it is not allowed to be a law anymore. All right, so I am going to take a picture of this and put it up on the classroom page for all of you. I hope you followed along, because if you didn't follow along, you're not going to understand it. If anyone's confused, please let me know. And you do not have to turn anything in today. You just have to take notes. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you're missing any work, you need to send it in. Thank you and goodbye.